Hello, welcome to Home Selling and Downsizing Seminar with Katie, the Real Estate Lady with Jacobs and Company Real Estate and Higher Standard Property Solutions, where I'm going to show you how to successfully sell your home in today's evolving market. Just a little bit about my background. I'm an active real estate agent and an active investor. I've been a licensed agent for the last 12 years. Prior to that, I was in the mortgage lending industry. I do have a background in mortgage lending and also insurance. And I've been buying and selling real estate myself since 1999. And it truly brings me joy helping clients accomplish their goals. And that's what today's webinar is all about. So I hope that you find this webinar helpful. If at any point in time you have any questions or concerns, please enter your question into chat or in the question area, and I'll make sure to follow up with you. I also may be sharing a poll with you later on, so keep an eye out for that. So today's agenda: what to expect when selling a home, what are your next steps, what does a timeline look like, what to expect from a realtor, when is the best time to sell, professional recommendations, and why you need a real estate agent, even in today's seller's market. I can't tell you how often I've had that question come up more recently. And then, don't forget to follow me on social media. I am on Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn, you name it. You can find me as Katie Wedge, Katie the Real Estate Lady, or at Katie the Real Estate Lady. If you'd like to sign up for my monthly newsletter, I do send out a newsletter to anyone who has made the request or is a past client of mine, keep you updated on what's happening in the market, maybe some helpful hints on how to increase the value of your home. And then if you'd like to schedule a consultation at any time, you can reach out through email, phone, and any one of my social media channels. And then our to-dos, I am going to suggest that you take notes. I can send you a copy of this seminar, and I do have some helpful information to share with you after the seminar. So please stay till the end so I can make sure I get those sent out to you. And also ask questions. At the end, I plan on sharing a list of paint colors, the seller timeline, and some repairs that can be made cost versus value sort of thing that might be worth your while staying for. And then, so let's talk about what determines the sale of your home. So location, of course, if you're in a location or neighborhood that's really desirable, then of course that can boost things for you. The condition of your home. That includes staging, how it presents itself, your first impression. And the agent, there is a difference between just entering it into the MLS and actually marketing the property. Our real estate brokerage is more like a marketing agency that sells real estate rather than a brokerage only selling real estate. And then price. Price is very important. Price is what draws in your potential buyer. And in this market, you're hoping for multiple potential buyers. And in order to get to multiple buyers, you need to have a large buyer's pool. So price is very important, even in today's market. What to expect when you meet with an agent. You're going to set a listing appointment. You might have, a lot of my listing appointments are two-step. So we might talk on the phone or Zoom, and then we follow up with an in-person meet and greet where I can actually see the property myself. You're going to be reviewing paperwork like a listing agreement between you and your agent, paperwork from the contracts, addendums, and those sort of things. Your agent should be hiring a professional photographer. There should be no cell phone photos. You should have a professional media company come out and take your photography. They should be taking video. If applicable, they should be doing drone footage. And we do multiple other sorts of media for our listings as well. Signage and lockbox. You see the sign on the property giving you an electronic lockbox. That's for tracking purposes. That's also for safety purposes. Because if someone comes to view your home, they should be with an agent. They should have been screened by that agent, and they should be a valid buyer for the property. And then client communication. So you may be dealing with an agent who, more than likely, if they're a high producing agent, has admin that work with them. So you're going to be dealing with a transaction coordinator or admin staff behind the scenes to make sure that everything is going well. And then we need to have a marketing plan in place. So we do that. We have a marketing plan that we discuss with our clients ahead of time, and puts that timeline in place and when to expect things, and make sure that we're utilizing all of our marketing ability on the property. Here is your timeline. So a needs assessment: to sell or not to sell. Is it the right time for you? What do the numbers look like? This should be a no obligation discussion with a third-party professional that is familiar and proficient with today's real estate market. Once you've made the decision to sell, then you're looking at a 30 to 60-day process, maybe longer. You'll be taking the pre-marketing steps. Many of my sellers they are asking me to market their property to my database and my brokerage off market while they're in preparation mode. And this gives them time to prepare. There's no photos taken, just details of what's going to be done. And then that's when you get your organizing done, your staging, your painting, your repairs, and things like that. We also then have a second prong, which is your coming soon stage. That's when you're entered in the MLS. You're still not getting any showings. However, I'm talking to other agents about your property. So word is spreading about your property. Then the third step would be actually getting active, but only after you have set up your listing. So that media package we talked about, you should be getting professional photos, video, drone footage. I also get measured floor plans of every room of the house, including the garage. The men want to know how big these garages are. They need to know how much room they're dealing with. So it's very important. They need to be able to see and understand your property online first, because that's where the majority of your buyers are. Active marketing. So we're going to post it in the multiple listing service, the MLS. We're going to schedule showings. We're going to answer questions from agents, from potential buyers. We're going to schedule and coordinate open houses and implement our whole marketing plan, which includes direct mail, social media, you name it. And then once you're under contract, we have a contract management phase. So this is the phase where you're going to be dealing with more admin to schedule inspections, appraisals, make sure that all parties are meeting their deadlines set within that contract. There may be some changes that need to be made, some final disclosures that need to be signed. And then, of course, your final walkthrough with your buyer, where they walk through the property one last time before settlement. We'll also be confirming the time of settlement and the necessary steps to be taken by all in order to prepare and get to settlement and complete the transaction. This is some more of a timeline that breaks it down a little bit better for you. And they like to say we have to sell your home 3 times. So just keep in mind, we're going to be negotiating at the time of offer. So once we receive offers in hand, we'll be negotiating not just sales price. We're going to be discussing the date and time of settlement, whether you need a rent back. Are there any inspections? If so, what type? How long? Is there financing? And how long are those contingencies? Things like that. Then you have those inspections. So if anything comes back on those inspections, in today's market, we're not seeing a lot of inspection contingencies. That's very rare, very rare. I don't expect that to last in this market very long. However, if something major comes up, that could become another negotiation point. And then if appraisal or financing becomes an issue, that could potentially become another negotiation point. Again, in today's market, we're not seeing that come up too often. However, I will point out this third possible negotiation right here is exactly why sellers in today's market love to see cash offers. This is one last potential negotiation to go through. And that's something that an agent should be keeping in mind for you when they're giving you advice. If it's a cash transaction, you see here, it just drops right down, right to settlement and addendums, and get you to closing. Okay, so planning and preparing and completing your needs assessment, consider the following. We're going to look at your return on investment. Is it worth you selling right now? Is it worth you putting this money into the property to prepare it to sell? And how much should you walk away with? And you'll get a written offer or a written estimate. I'm sorry. Selling your home as is versus preparing it. For every dollar you spend, you should get $3 back on the sale. That's kind of the ratio. And there's no exact math to that. But if you stick around to the end, I'll show you our cost versus return estimates to give you a good idea of what projects to start with. Do any rooms need to be painted? I would say paint just does wonders. Do we want one cohesive color throughout the home if we can? We like to have one cohesive flooring for the most part throughout the home if you can. Again, we're looking for a blank slate where someone else can see themselves living there. And we'd like it to be move-in ready. The more move-in ready a property is, the more offers you get, the higher the offers go, the more contingencies go away, the better the terms get for the seller. So presentation does go a long way. We're going to look at things like roof. Does it make sense for you to make repairs to a roof right now? Not necessarily. Is it something that we could wait and offer credit if it becomes an issue later? In this market, that's what I would recommend. And then do you have financing in order for you to make your move? So once you sell, do you have things prepared for your next place? And if so, what do we need to do to get there? We can help you with that. Lease back. I mean, you can call this has been called several different things. Lease back is probably the most common. What we call it technically within the business is a post-occupancy agreement. And this is where the seller chooses to actually go to settlement with the buyer, but then leases it back themselves and pays rent to the new owner. This allows them a little bit of extra time in the home, but they get their money and they can use that money to then go out and purchase their new place. So it can give you up to an additional 60 days in the home. And it's becoming very common in today's market. Marketing to millennials. So we have a whole new batch of buyers in today's market, and that is the millennials. So there are 8 surefire ways to improve a home's value. And one would be to refresh the kitchen. So some brand new appliances can go a long way. A coat of paint can go a long way, whether that be on the walls or on the cabinets. Maximizing the living area. So of course, since COVID, we have determined that we need more square footage to live because we are living, working, and schooling all in the same place. And for that reason, we have seen a large increase in the square footage that our buyers are looking for. Is it energy efficient? Who doesn't want to save money on energy costs? If you can make the property, as I said before, move-in ready, where they have to do little to move in and live in it without making any changes, the value of that property just skyrockets. And what a buyer is willing to pay for it in today's market goes up dramatically. Again, here's that apply fresh neutral paint. We want to go neutral. So you notice in this photo, a very neutral color, almost looks like a model home. It probably is. And I would say that stay to the end. I have a list of paint colors that you can use, and it's just a foolproof way. One less thing you need to worry about. Just pick one of those colors and you'll be just fine. Install age-friendly features. So if you think you're in a market where you're going to have young couples buying, you might want some techie things. You might want the smart home. You might want the Nest thermostat and those sort of things. Creating an outdoor living space. So this has become very important through COVID. We have seen an equal increase in the demand for outdoor living space as we have for additional square footage, because in today's market, it's one and the same. You want to live and entertain and work and school all in the same place. So, and then here are those high-tech gadgets, that Nest thermostat, things like that. Those are ways that can increase your value, increase the desirability. One less thing your buyer has to work to do when they move in themselves, and it's considered an upgrade. Here are those 2022 paint colors. Again, neutral palette. Now this is Sherwin-Williams paint palette. You can use other paint palettes as this, and you don't have to use these colors, but it's so easy. You could just give them these paint colors and numbers and use these. And I will send out a copy of these to you. I can send you a copy of our webinar today if you have any questions about it and need to or want to watch it again, or just copies of this materials with the paint colors. Just let me know. Agreeable gray is one that I use a lot in a lot of my properties. When I don't know, I go agreeable gray because this is one easiest for me to remember. Repair costs versus return. So kitchens and bathrooms sell homes, but buyers are also considering the age of the systems. So the age of the systems is going to determine the value as well. So if you have new gutters, roof, windows, HVAC, and electrical, your home is worth substantially more than your neighbor who has the exact same model but doesn't have those upgrades done. Maintenance is very important on a home. It can deteriorate very quickly without proper maintenance. You want to make sure you're keeping your gutters clean, make sure that landscaping is cleaned up, power wash, organize, clean, make sure everything smells fresh. Curb appeal. I can't even tell you how important that is. Keep in mind first impression. And there are several first impressions of a home. I find that my first impression is when I drive up to the mailbox. And then my next impression is what does the landscaping look like? Does it look inviting? Is it clean? What's the front door look like? Is that clean? Is it freshly painted? Is it decorated nicely? And that's the actual first impression of a home when you walk up to it. Any bells and whistles like tech gadgets or outdoor living. Again, we talked about how popular those are. Any repairs, updates, changes you plan to make during your preparation phase should be taken into consideration when you're pricing your home out. And excuse me, comfort, temperature. Make sure that when people are going to be walking through your home, it smells nice, it's clean, and it's comfortable. If it's too hot or too cold, they are uncomfortable in the space, and all they can think about is how uncomfortable they are and want to leave. We're here to help you determine which repairs will give you a return based on the current market and most recent sales. Things to consider when renovating would be cost, time frame, and now we're dealing with material shortages. Avoid special or custom order work to be done currently on homes to sell. And making additions to a home can cost $50,000 to $100,000. It's probably at least 50 for just a screened-in porch, if not close to 100 these days with the cost of wood. And then to make an addition to a house a finished addition to a home will cost well over $100,000, and it's a very lengthy process. So those are the things that we're going to weigh when we're determining whether the cost versus return match up. And then here are our top 10 updates with the highest return on investment. We talked about first impressions. So here's that mailbox at the front door, front landscape. That's your very first impression when you're walking up to the property. Is the door painted? Does it need to be replaced? Is the lock working properly? That's one, if I'm having trouble getting the lock open, it just kind of sets the showing off to not a smooth beginning. Landscaping, clean up the beds, prune the bushes, mulch, goes a long way. You don't need to do anything extensive, just clean up. Patching and repairing after removing items from the wall, because you want to depersonalize, you want to make sure everything's patched and painted. Lighting is a very low budget way to completely change a space. I would say paint and lighting are two of the biggest transformations that you can make in a room. Cabinet hardware goes a long way. You can switch that out very easily on your cabinets and really give it an updated look. Staging and decluttering, there's minimal cost and the return on investment is so worth it. I have many agents tell me they're surprised that I use a stager, and my home's first impression, I believe, is higher. I believe they sell faster, and I believe they sell for more money, because when we have considered what it looks like on media, we've also considered the flow of the home. So you notice here, has furniture been reconfigured to allow the flow of the home? One thing that my stager told me is that, keep in mind that these are families, couples, they have an agent. So there's at least 2 to 3 people walking through a property at a time. And anytime they have to go down to a single file line with any given room, subliminally, they're thinking to themselves, it might be too small. So you want to avoid things like that. And for me, it was moving a toy box out of the room. I didn't want them to have to step around it or go single file. So something small like that, those are all things that we consider, and those are all things a stager can help you with. Cleaning, $300 to $500. It is it's probably 1,000% worth it. Flooring, of course, if you can refinish or buff it up, that's always better than trying to replace it. But if it needs it, it might be a good time to consider, and we can always help you with getting estimates for that. I work with contractors, and they give me very good pricing, and I can tell you where to find good quality material at a good price. I would recommend asking your agent if as is a market value and an after repair market value analysis, so you can weigh your options when determining which projects are going to be worth it. Some things to consider in a current market are the lack of inventory, increased demand, material shortages is probably the biggest one, and the increased cost of materials. The material shortages and the increased cost of materials for a seller make it very difficult to be able to determine what your final investment's going to be. And sometimes it's better just to leave it available for your buyer to take care of. And that's what will help you determine. Top 6 staging tips. So want to get a staging consultation. That's something that I offer as a service. When you list with me, I have a stager come over to your home free of charge and walk room by room and leave you a list of what they would suggest that you do to prepare the home for going on the market. You're going to declutter, you're going to depersonalize, you're going to make minor repairs and updates, you're going to lighten and brighten the space. That could be taking down window treatments, or that could be painting. Make sure the house is clean and sparkling for photos, open house and showings. and make sure that all odors are kind of eliminated. It gets hard to live and show a property, but the way we live in a property and the way we show a property are two different things. So we try to show you how to maximize your first impression so that we can minimize the length of time we have to keep your property available for showings. And stage homes sell 17% more than a non-staged home. 95% of staged homes sell in 11 days or less. I truly believe that. My renovation properties are all staged. And then all of my listings get a listing consultation, and some of them are even staged. Stage homes spent 73% less time on the market than non-staged homes. Investing in staging saves the average homeowner at least 1 month's mortgage payment and may prevent a price reduction. We're not seeing price reductions in today's market. If it's priced appropriately, it should be bidding up. So here's a before and after of staging. And I think that photo pretty much speaks for itself. Same room, they depersonalized, they lightened, they brightened, and I'm not sure if they painted. They may have painted, but they did replace the rug and redid some of this furniture here. So just to give you an idea of what the difference that can make. Less is more. Less makes spaces look bigger and brighter and easier for the new potential buyer to see themselves in the property. And it makes it easier for you to maintain it while you're showing it. If you don't have a toy box full of toys for the kids to drag out, then you don't have to clean them up between every showing. And how do you get rid of stuff? I get this a lot. You could do a real yard sale, an online yard sale, Facebook Marketplace. We're happy to help our clients with that. Pass it on to friends or family. Donate to charity. Salvation Army does pickup. Leverage your team's resources. So whoever you ask to help you sell your home, you should leverage all the resources they have available to help you with this. And of course, I'm going to recommend that you hire a professional stager, organizer, furniture. They can restore furniture for you, that sort of thing. I can make recommendations for that. Something to consider, talking to a third-party professional. So whether it be your tax preparer or CPA, or a title company, tax issues with selling a home. You should always speak to a tax professional or your accountant. The $250,000 and the $500,000 exclusion is applicable to primary residence. And if you lived in the property for the last two out of the last 5 years, sorry. If you lived in the home any 2 years out of the last 5 years, gets confusing. That would make you exempt from paying capital gains. Again, speak to your tax professional about that. Mortgage overview. So here are some common questions I get regarding mortgages. Is it possible to purchase a new home before selling my existing home? It depends. It depends on how much you make, how much you owe, and what size house you want to buy. And I'm going to recommend that you talk to a mortgage loan officer. I know several very good ones that I can recommend. How do I get pre-approved on a new home loan? Most mortgage professionals, I'm going to recommend that you call them, talk to them, see which one seems to be the best fit for you. Then you're going to apply online with them. They all do their applications online. And if you need help with that, you just let them know that in advance. If you say, look, I'm just not comfortable with online, I'm going to need to set aside time for you to take my loan application over the phone or send it to you to manually fill out, they will do that for you. You just let them know. What information will a lender require to assess the pre-approval? So they're looking for 2 years income, employment and income, and at least 2 months worth of asset statements. So 2 months worth of your the last quarter of retirement statements, 2 months worth of bank statements or any sort of liquid assets you have. And then 2 years worth of like W-2s. So 2 years W-2s and 2 most recent pay stubs. So they want to see 1 month of income. And if you're retired, they'd be looking for your pension and that sort of thing. Are there other ways to access equity in my existing home for a down payment prior to selling? Yes, you can get an equity loan or a home equity line of credit. The number of banks offering those, because we're so inundated with these low rates, so many people refinancing, many of the banks stopped doing these types of loans because they were so busy. I hope to see those coming back soon, but yes, there are several ways. You can talk to a mortgage company that may be able to offer bridge financing or a line of credit. And I can help you with that. I can make recommendations if that's needed. The pros and cons of buying first. So in today's market, the least amount of contingencies is what the sellers are looking for. Contingencies would be ways out of the contract. So contingencies might be home inspection, it might be financing, it might be well and septic inspections, radon inspections, things like that. And so the pros would be avoiding 2 moves. So you can buy the new place, move out of the old place into the new place, and prep the old place for the market. And then you're just able to acquire the right property at your own pace because there's no deadline on set over your head. And then the cons would be the potential of carrying more than one mortgage for a short period of time while you purchase this one and sell this one. And sometimes in a market that is so crazy like today's market, that works out well. However, if it's not available, keep in mind you have other options like that post-occupancy agreement that allow you 2 extra months in the home. Legal concerns when downsizing or selling a property, who owns the home? So this is going to be things that your title company is going to be looking out for. Is there a trust? Or is there more than one person on title? Who actually is the deeded owner of the property? Because they must be available for signatures. Where are they all? Has the owner deceased? Is it in probate? Is it out of probate? Is it, if it was in a trust, they might not have to worry about that. Are all the sellers in the same state? Are they related? All that sort of thing your title company is going to help you with. And that's what's going to help you get that clear title, which is part of your contract. And then, let's see, closings, very rarely, but occasionally closings can get delayed due to the lender needing more time or title issues coming up. And how to simultaneously buy and sell. So this is when you buy and sell and you do it all at the same time. And these are things that your title company can help you with. So title issues, preparation of final documents, they help coordinate the 2 settlements and the monies involved with that. They prepare your title insurance policies, coordinate with all sides. So you have a buying and selling side of each transaction. And then the importance of boundary line surveys and your title policy to protect your investment. Then you want to ask yourself, do I need to carry both properties? Do I have the ability to carry both properties? Are my asset and allocations where I need them to be in order to plan this out successfully? And then should I carry a mortgage on the new or the smaller property? I get asked a lot, is this a good time to sell? I've actually had people think it's not a good time to sell. And on the contrary, it's an awesome time to sell if you're wondering. But the things that I would say is that people are going to be buying and selling homes between now and forever. And there's always going to be a need depending on whether you need to upsize or downsize due to the size of your family or a change in your family dynamic, maybe a death in the family. Are you relocating to a different state for job purposes? Maybe you're doing this because it just makes sense financially to either upsize or downsize, or maybe the financial gains you get from selling outweigh just staying. And it's a difficult question to answer, but I would say it depends on each person's scenario. And if you're considering it, just reach out. I love hearing from people. I love it when people ask me questions. I'm more than happy to schedule time with you to share what information I can have available for you. And I'm more than happy to give you analysis of what it looks like on paper in black and white on whether it makes sense for you to sell right now. And then this is my approach. My approach is to actively listen to your goals and your expectations. I look to make long-lasting relationships, and I want to understand your needs. I take pride in being one of the top listing agents in the area, and I do that by taking care of my clients with a heart of service. And see here my list of services. This is just a small list of some of the things that we offer. I won't go into detail. If you want more information, I'm more than happy to share it with you. Thank you for spending this time with me. I am going to be sharing any information with you that you request. As always, I am here for any questions or concerns. I can always make professional recommendations. I didn't list them all here because this list would be so long, but I've been in this business and in this area for a number of years. I have a lot of connections. It's always growing and changing. So let me know if you need anything. I'm happy to make a recommendation. Things to consider, whether you're thinking about buying or selling yourself. We call that a FSBO, for sale by owner. Hiring an agent is an investment in the sale of your largest asset. And my suggestion is that you have a professional help you with that. Commission covers, all the list of services that I provide, but at a minimum should cover pricing, marketing, professional negotiation, admin staff, and timelines. You can sell your home faster and have a much larger buyer's pool, which gets you more money, better terms, and less contingencies. And then you're going to avoid pitfalls. You're going to know what to ask for, what deadlines to watch out for, and what contracts not to accept, because getting offers in and choosing the correct offer is just as important as getting those offers in. I can refer you to industry professionals, make recommendations to other contractors, that sort of thing. And days on the market matter in today's market. If you're on the market longer than the public expects in this seller's market, they begin to wonder what's wrong with it. And then once they think something's wrong with it, they just keep swiping past it. Can't figure out what's wrong with it. And then here are some final tips. Get an objective third-party opinion on the value of your property. Don't throw money at something unless you're getting that 3-to-1 ratio. Put yourself in the best position for success. Prepare before you sell. One of the biggest complaints I have from buyers right now is that some of the things, or a lot of what they're seeing coming on the market, looks like it hasn't been maintained because it doesn't show well. It looks like they just threw it on the market with little care. And don't go into pricing blind. You need to pay attention to market stats and price it correctly. You don't want to be the highest going on the market. You want to be the highest selling on the market. And there's a difference. Here are some of your key materials that I'm going to be sharing with you. So please let me know by responding and letting me know that you would like a copy of the timelines I shared with you, the list of top paint colors, and then that cost versus value chart and top 10 tips. I didn't put the top 10 tips on here, but I'm more than willing to share those with you because I think those are super impactful. And again, if you're thinking of selling or you just want to have some questions answered, I am more than happy to set aside time to meet with you. If you'd like to join my newsletter, I send that out monthly. If you'd like to be part of my private group, you just need to send me a message and let me know. I send out tips and tricks, and sometimes I will drop nuggets like some of my good contractor contacts in that private group. But thanks for joining me.